This is the vice president who cast the tie-breaking vote on the biggest piece of legislation to spur clean energy job growth in American history.
Yeah,
That's
which led to inflation, which is causing retirees to have to go back to work. Anyway, I love talking to you. You have.
She said, which led to inflation is causing retirees to have to go back to work. Oops. In this video, a Kamala Harris surrogate is going to try to defend Kamala Harris on her flip-flopping, lack of interviews, and her basic bad decision-making. So basically, he's going to try to teach a fish how to ride a motorcycle underwater. Check it out.
Democrats are touting a surge of enthusiasm for Vice President Harris, but despite that momentum, polls show the race is still essentially tied in the battleground. So that matters. Want to bring in Ian Sams, senior spokesperson for the Harris-Walz campaign. Great to have you here today. Want to point out these Nate Silver forecasts, right? He has Trump. I guess this keeps going up. 60.1% is his probability rating of who will win the election. He puts Trump in that category for right now. What is going to happen before next Tuesday that Kamala Harris can do to help try to turn that around before the debate?
Well, I think that we're campaigning really hard and the vice president's sharing her message. I think in the last couple of days, you've seen a lot on the economy. You saw President Trump speaking at the New York Economic Club. You saw Vice President Harris speaking in New Hampshire. And a very different choice for the American people between President Trump, who wants to cut taxes for those at the very top and big corporations, and Vice President Harris, who has a plan to jumpstart small business growth. 25 million small businesses in her first term is her goal, by giving them the resources to get off the ground. This comes on top of her middle-class tax cut that she's running on and campaigning on for the country. And so in the coming days, I think you'll hear us talk a lot more about our economic vision. Just this morning, 88 top CEOs, former CEOs from across the country, business leaders, companies like Ford, Starbucks, Pepsi, Lyft, these are real American companies, came out and endorsed Vice President Harris, said she'd be great for the business community. Donald Trump's a former CEO himself. I'm not sure why the CEOs don't like him so much, but suddenly this morning they're coming on board because I think they see the difference in the economic vision.
I think that he might
who's
say,
going to actually grow the economy.
Sorry, so I'm not a spokesperson for him, but I imagine what they would say is that, well, he's never been a friend of Wall Street. He has never been a friend of the establishment. Of course, the CEOs don't like him. But what he would say, I would imagine, is that, one, the Trump tax cuts, they would...
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people that you just named, including Kamala, are friends of Obama, and Obama bailed out Wall Street. That's what he did. And then he put Wall Street into his cabinet. A lot of people don't like talking about that with the Obama people, but a lot of the people that went to the Obama campaign are now running the Kamala campaign. And this is what they do. Yeah, and if it wasn't for Obama, there would be no Lyft and Uber. He like rubber stamp that thing to get them through, to make them like a real job. Yeah, and make them contractors. That's what it was. So they wanted to be able to have employees without having employees. So they wouldn't have to give them benefits. So now, like, all the Lyft people, all the Uber people are all independent contractors. And everyone thought that was good, so they realized, oops, no workers' comp, no bennies. Yeah, that was Obama. The Uber and Lyft economy. And it was uber disgusting. That great. This guy sucks.
Argue that it did not just help the top. And you hear that even from voters who are saying that the Biden-Harris administration over the last 3.5 years has led to a point where now you have 3 months of declining manufacturing job growth. You have retirees as the fastest growing seekers of returning to work at this point because they can't meet their cost of living standards. And Kamala Harris, yes, she says $50,000 to help start a new business. But if you're a retiree, that's not what you're looking for. They're telling us that they want to go back to something that where they can make ends meet at the end of the month.
$50,000 to start a new business. Rewind that, Johnson. Can you start an old business with it? Can you restart your current business? I'm just saying, if you're giving out money, I'm just saying. Africa's King, can we come up with something? What's up, Barry? Raven, YouTuber. Raven. Can we come up with some ideas? Sharon Brown. $50,000 start a new business? Hey, I got some ideas. How about kickstart your own business? That's slowing down because you couldn't get no Russian money. Like the guys over there.
she is going to be pressed on the economy, no doubt. Do you imagine that President Trump and Kamala Harris will figure out a way, like, for example, on the Trump tax cuts? She's flip-flopped on a lot of things. She said she wouldn't want to extend them, but that actually does help the middle class. Would she perhaps agree with him on that, like taxing on tips?
Well, that's a lot to sift through. I think a couple things. First, I would say if you're a senior in this country, I think you're probably more worried about the Project 2025 agenda.
Oh, God. Oh, God. I told you, man, some people got mad at me. Don't tell I don't like when you talk mean to Poindexter. Nah, she's not good either. She's frailing around. Hey, he's taking shots at Trump. I got to defend Trump. But I don't know anything but talking points. And then he's like, I got my pocket protector. I got questions. I got answers. Kamala's almighty, powerful. This is where we're at, Johnson. This is what we got. Man, the fact that we got to choose between Trump and Kamala makes you want to pancake yourself with a cast iron grill. Come on,
that might cut your Social Security and Medicare benefits. And when it comes to manufacturing, people forget, even before COVID hit, 2019, we were in a manufacturing recession because of President Trump's policies. So I think when you think about these things that you just mentioned, you have to understand the facts there.
Do you?
I think secondly, when it comes to
pandemic?
You asked about the Trump tax cuts. I think the vice president's been very clear that the Trump tax cuts were a disaster for this country. She's focused in a more tailored way on ensuring that the middle class, small businesses, and workers get tax relief.
Hey, really, what does Kamala know about taxes? Come on, man. She's a cop. What that cop know about taxes?
As opposed to a one-size-fits-all approach like President Trump did and now is promoting doing more of, that slashes taxes overwhelmingly for those at the very top and big corporations. And hope that trickles down to the rest of everybody
well, we'll
else.
let them.
That's a difference in their economic visions, and I think you'll hear her talk about that on the debate stage.
Okay, Jim Messina was on our show yesterday. Pennsylvania, important state. Obviously, you got to have that in your column, and if you want to get to 270. This is what he said about vulnerabilities for the Harris campaign with older white voters, and we were talking in particular about those retirees. Watch.
Part of her struggle right now is these older white voters where Joe Biden was doing better than she is right now. So she's got to address this, and she did yesterday in her announcement. But you're on to one of the challenges of the election for her, which is these older white voters that love Joe Biden and are still waiting to
Mr. Personality. All right, so the older whites don't like Kamala.
figure out what to do in this election.
And they haven't heard from her, Ian. I know that she did the speech in New Hampshire, but the President Trump, for all the interviews that he's done, he's willing to take questions, everything. Is it a risk to put all your chips on one debate when she hasn't really been able to do any sort of Q&A with anybody except for in debate prep?
Well, I reject that. She sat down with Dana Bash for a long interview on CNN.
This guy said a long interview, man. Look, dog. If I was him, I'd be waiting for that lightning to just come through and take me away, Johnson. That lightning should come get him. She talked for 16 minutes and Walls talked for 10 and it was over. He called that long. Trump sat out and talked for, an hour and a half with Elon Musk. He did another hour with Theo Von. Then he did this other thing, and then he did town halls. He said 40 things. Like, Trump has done 10 podcasts, town halls, or interviews in the last 3 weeks. I still cover them all because, I'm only one guy, can cover everything, but he's done a lot, man. This guy said, Kamala just sat down for a long interview with Dana Bash. That's horrible, man, when you got to come out here and lie. He's got the current Jean-Pierre job, coming out here and lying. How much it costs how much they pay you to be a surrogate? All right, we need you to go out here and lie as much as possible. Make up stuff. I don't care what you do. Just keep lying. Don't stop lying. This guy is not a good liar, though. This guy, that's obvious. You can't defend that. Well, Kamala had a long interview.
Q&A with anybody except for in debate prep.
Well, I reject that. She sat down with Dana Bash for a long interview on CNN that aired
One
just
interview
a week
in
ago.
47 days.
Well, I know you guys are just now paying attention to her now that she's the presidential candidate, but she's done about 90 interviews this year as the
Who should do 90 interviews this year with? You talking about on the phone with Ricky Smiley and Steve Harvey? That's not an interview, dog. Sit around talking to Steve Harvey, Ricky Smiley, and Tom Jordan. Oh. Calling up D.L. Hughley. The perpendicular lines and the do the lines to the perpendicular and the unmitigated. I was saying that it would be a funny thing. I was saying, if I besmirch someone's reputation in front of the whole world.
vice president, and people maybe weren't paying attention or listening.
Maybe they weren't paying attention. They were paying attention. They were saying that she was the worst vice president in the history of vice presidents. They were saying that there's a vice president of a trash company somewhere in Houston that's even better than her. Like, she's the worst vice president. And when she talks, she talks like a plane that had no GPS. It just kept going around in circles. It was circling the runway because it couldn't land. Like, every point she was supposed to make was like, hey, ain't that where we supposed to land? Ain't we supposed to land? Maybe we should land.
She's taken questions from reporters on the campaign trail so far in this campaign, people who are covering her every single.
Who did she talk to? She had her earbuds in her ears. The ones with the wire, she don't even have wireless earbuds. She had the wire earbuds in with her phone up with her like this. Looking at the reports going. She had earphones in, phone ears. But you're saying that she is just loving to talk to those reporters, huh? All right. Man.
Single day. She's going to do more interviews and talk to the press more and take more reporter questions. Of course she's going to do that over the course of this campaign. But I think that she's going to explain to the country on Tuesday night what the difference in this election is and the choice between President Trump and her, and who has the right vision for the future. Are we ready? Are we going to keep doing what Donald Trump's been doing for the last decade? Or are we going to turn the page and look forward to something else?
But Ian, first of all, she hadn't done a lot of interviews. And saying debate prep's going well, yelling that to the pool is not just taking questions from the press.
This year.
But here's the last thing, which is
look at this poor guy, man. Give it up for this guy, man. Let me say this, man. He's in there like his thing is to not get upset. You know it's a thankless job. You got to go up here and lie. And I'm just going to do my best at lying, man. Come on now, lady. Come on now. Come on, we're going to get a shot at Jack after this.
Do the American voters not need to hear from her directly? She wants to be the commander-in-chief. We paid attention to her, and you guys didn't like that either. So the interviews.
It's funny.
Go ahead. I'll give you the last one.
It's funny. I hear the question, and it's funny because it's like you're acting like she's in the witness protection program. She's been traveling across the battleground states, talking to thousands of people in packed arenas.
Right.
Yo, she's been telling a stump speech, Johnson. She's been saying a stump speech. I am always tired. My life ain't been no crystal stair. Where is it like? Come on now, everybody. Hey, you're not like us. Doing her black thing. Hey. That's what she's doing, Johnson. I am always tired. Lord, someone said she'd been packing in charter buses, having people, bringing those people to her rallies. Come on, Johnson, but real. Come on, let's be real, Johnson. Let's be real. She paid people to attend those rallies. Same speech, different state. Yeah, she has, Johnson. Oh my God. Is that Henry Kissinger mixed with Hillary Clinton? Jesus Christ.
arenas that are much more packed
Yep.
than what President Trump is speaking
And
to.
look, and I
Look, I know, because you pay people to be there. You pay people to be there. People are coming out to see Trump, but they might get shot. It's got to be it's got to be in the back of everyone's head who goes to see Trump. You know, we could die doing this. Do we really want to see Trump? And they come out anyway. Now, Kamala people, they think the same thing. But they're not afraid of dying from bullets. They're afraid of dying from those boring speeches that Kamala gives. Joy to the world.
People are
scripted
seeing
interviews
that on the news. They're
scripted
hearing her
speeches are
message.
great. But it's different from doing an interview. And also, she hasn't had to explain why she has done the flip-flop on fracking, the Green New Deal, Medicare for all, and now even banning plastic straws.
But Dana, you're Dana.
Not
you, Dana,
Yes, I
but
know Dana versus
last
Dana.
week on last week on CNN in a fulsome sit-down interview asked her questions about all those things. So I just think it's inaccurate to say she's not answering these questions.
It's Kamala, not Kamala. You shut up. You want your name to be pronounced correctly all the time? Get an easy one. Tim. You can't pronounce Tim, you got a problem. Somebody told your mother to be Indian, name you Indian names. Chamomile. Only way I get it right now, get it right 90% of the time, only because I always think Kamala. Kamala.
Questions. She sat down and did a long interview last week to explain her position.
He said it again. You doubled down on that being a long interview. Boy, I know your kids be like, Dad, I know you're not going to say I'm not telling the truth. We lie in this household just like you do for your job, Dad, because every day you lie. You lie all the time, Dad. You ain't even going to be able to say that. You'll be like, go ahead. Not going to punish you. You better not, Dad, because you're the liar in chief. I learned to do it from you. I learned it from watching you, Dad.
On these issues and how her views have developed, being the vice president to President Biden, how she's gotten so much done. When you talk about fracking,
she got so much done. Oh, she's taking responsibility for things that have happened on his watch now. You don't say. I love this, man. This is exactly what I've been hoping we would do. Taking responsibility, right? So things that went badly, we can blame her for them, right? Okay.
You know, this is the vice president who cast the tie-breaking vote on the biggest piece of legislation to spur clean energy job growth history.
Yeah,
That's
which
what
led
she's
to
gonna build
inflation,
on
which
and
is
grow
causing
on
retirees
as
to have to go
president.
back to work. Anyway, I love talking to you. You have
She said, which led to inflation is causing retirees to have to go back to work. Oops. She's like, hey, I started slow, but I ended fast. They don't get the last word because it's my show. Next time, word time, Sparky. You think you are Tim Black on YouTube?
been a really good.
That was interesting, guys. I'll tell you, we had a good time with that. Yeah, we go. Good stuff, always good stuff, guys. But at the end of the day, we got to see who does what. Well, we know the debates are coming up on Tuesday, so we're going to all be tuned into that. Of course, we'll be covering it here on the Tim Black Show, and I will be rocking it with you guys. Hopefully it'll be interesting. I think it will be. It's going to be tough for both of them, but especially for, you know what? I'm going to save it, but I just say it's going to be tough. It's going to be good. It's important for both of them. It might be the most important. Because at the end of the day, it all comes down to the swing states. Because, like I've been saying, Trump ain't gonna he's not gonna do anything different than what he's already done. He's gonna be himself. He's gonna be Trump. And Kamala's the one who can't come out sounding like she don't know what she's talking about. And if she does that, if she comes out with a bunch of word salad, it'll be hard for independents. The swing voters who really, they don't like Trump, right? But they don't like her. They don't know her. But if she comes out and she seems incompetent, she seems like she doesn't have a command of the issues at all. Yeah, it might seal the bill. It might seal the deal, is what I'm saying. I don't see how Trump can mess up worse. Because the people that don't like him will continue not to like him. It's not like he's going to, look, if you get shot and they didn't feel nothing for you, and they weren't like, oh, poor Trump. No one signed a card or nothing. Nothing happened. Nobody did anything. They didn't do a special on MSNBC. Poor Trump, he almost got killed. No, think about it, guys. There was an assassination attempt, and there's been nothing. No 1 hour special on CNN or MSNBC. Oh, Trump, how do you feel about almost losing your life? Nothing. Think about that. That's the equivalent of you go to work, someone tries to kill you, you come back to work that Monday, and it's like, they all know what happened. It's not like they don't know. And it's like no cake in the break room. No one signed a card. That uncomfortable, they signed a card and now everybody wants you to read the card and shit. None of that. You just show up and it's like, hey, you're running a little bit late there, Bob. We expected you here at 8 o'clock. It's 8:07. It's 8:07, man. What are you doing? How late were you out last night? Well, I got shot on Sunday. Really? Oh, come on, Sean. Come on, buddy. We can't act like you're going to use that as a crutch. It's Monday. What's wrong with you? You didn't, get that out your system? I could have died. Yeah, we all could die, but you didn't. Be on time tomorrow, okay? That's all I'm saying. All right. Have a good day. What I'm saying is the glaring, bias, the glaring, unsympathetic, callous even. Heavens to Murgatroyd. It's obvious, man. If you can't see it, what can I tell you? But see, there's so many people that have been conditioned to say Trump is Hitler. They're fine with it. They are A-okay with it. Because they actually believe Trump is taking their democracy. They think one man is taking their democracy. That's what they think. That's what they I was saying, man. All the problems that got this country, they want to blame it on one guy who ain't even been in office for the last 4 years. It's crazy, man. Our system is garbage. If you don't know that by now, you must be, I don't know what you're doing watching this show. You're too young to watch YouTube. Can't be 5 years old trying to watch YouTube. All right, folks. My name is Tim Black. We do this every day at 9:30, 10 o'clock.